Welcome to another session of Fit Essentials. My name is Shauna. I'll be guiding you through. We're going to use the short bands today in this section if you have them for the first piece after we get some stretching in. And just to acknowledge any concern, I have some burns on the side of my arms from a workout I did on Monday in like the high ring. So it looks kind of funny. I just figured I'd address that and to leave anyone from questioning of like, what's going on with their arms? It was just like strap burn on the sides of my arms. So with that said, let's go ahead and come on up to standing. We're going to do a couple cycles of our breathing, and then we're going to loosen up our ankles and hips and get going. So set those feet just underneath the hips. Lift your body on up out of your hips, trying to lengthen through the spine. Then take a nice little soft bend in the knees and just check in. Make sure that you aren't tilted forward in your pelvis. So draw the belly in, rotate the hips back. Beautiful. From here, breathe in as you circle your arms up and around. Forearms are going to come together, palms come together. And now we're going to start to tuck ourselves into a little ball. Draw the chin to the chest, pull the belly in towards the spine as you exhale. When you're ready for that next inhale, lift up out of the hips, turn your chest up towards the sky, divide the arms, opening the chest, draw your elbows back and down, looking up towards the sky. And then on the next exhale, go back to that first position, tucking it down and in. Nice, smooth exhale, breathing out a little bit longer than you normally would. Twice more. Lift the body, open the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades back and together. Exhale, round down and in. Good. One more cycle here. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Squeeze the glutes as you lift your head and chest towards the sky. And nice, smooth final exhale of this cycle. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Send that air out. On the next inhale, relax your arms down. Come on up to standing. Fantastic. Walk the feet a little bit wider. We're going to go onto one leg, lifting up through that midline, shoulders back and down, and warm up those ankles. About 5 circles, 5 to 8, one direction. Keeping your hips nice and level here. Welcome, Jean. And then switch directions when you're ready. Roll the ankle the other way. All right, watch those shoulders arms drawing up and into the ears. Yeah, pulling back and down. Good. Set that foot down. In between sides, let's go ahead and just gently roll those hips around, circle through. Good. And go ahead and take it the other direction, circling it back the other way. Our weather here went from like 90 degrees to fall overnight. Got some windy, bustling weather out there today, 40s and 50s. So it's kind of a nice little break. But we're moving it inside with all the wind. Ankle rolls on the other side, shoulders back and down, lifting up to your midline. Come on to that single leg balance. And 5 to 8 circles each direction. The hips tend to kick out here when we start to get a little bit loose in our stance. So pull up and in, draw the shoulders back. Switch directions if you have it with that ankle, lifting it up, rolling it around. And set it on down. Fantastic. We're going to continue that single leg balance, this time moving into a quad stretch. So back to your first leg, pull the shoulders back, lifting on up and grab that foot. Pulling your heel towards your glute. Excellent. Get a nice soft bend in the knee on the leg that you're supporting on, and you're looking to pull the heel towards the glute, your bum. Good job. We'll hold about another 10 seconds here, staying tall. Oops. 2, 1, and release. In between legs this time, we're going to think about figure 8 of the hips. So similar to those hip circles, but now just think about making a figure 8. Kind of imagine your belly button, tracing that outline. Very good. Few cycles there, and now reverse directions. Try to figure 8 the other way. You can either keep the hands on the hips or maybe just kind of mimic a little hula girl here. There you go. Hands out to the side. Smile. Moving your body a little bit different. Fantastic. All right. Walk those feet back in. Quad stretch on that second leg. Lift the chest. Draw everything up. Grab that foot. Good job. Keep the ribs pulled in. Soft bend in the support leg. Fantastic. 10 more seconds. We're going to get ready to go into our banded walks next. We're going to have 2 rounds, banded walks in the lateral direction with some squats. Go ahead and release that foot And if you don't have it nearby, go ahead and grab your band and let's grab a drink of water before we jump into this. All right, fantastic. So go ahead, you're gonna bring the band. We're gonna do it in 2 different positions. On this first set, you're gonna have the band be below the knees. So the upper part of the shins below the knees. Round 2 will go above the knees. It just slightly makes a little bit difference on how the accessory muscles are gonna be activated. All right, so when you're ready, stand up nice and tall, and then you're gonna sit your hips back, keep your weight into the heels, and we're gonna go between 3 to 6 steps laterally, depending upon your space. When you get to the end of your area, push your knees out nice and wide. We're going between 2 and 3 squats. Send the hips back, drive the knees wide. Very good. Weight in the heels, chest nice and tall. After you finish your 2 to 3 squats, stay in that, we call it like a defensive stance, and taking it back the other direction. Very good. That's our first 30 seconds. We got another minute to work on this, and they'll be coming down to the floor for some glute bridges with the band. Fantastic. Nice tall chest as you're doing these lateral steps. Work on that depth as you warm up your squat. Knees drive wide, hips pull down, keeping the weight on the heels. Very good. Taking it back. Fantastic. About 30 seconds left, and we'll make our way to the floor. Excellent. There you go. Breathing through it. Fantastic. 10 seconds. Go ahead and try to get back to the starting position, even if it takes you a little bit longer than 10 seconds. We'll give a little bit longer to rotate, taking it down to the floor. Good. There's our 90 seconds. So go ahead and finish out that set. And then when you're ready, make your way down to the floor, lying on your back. And if you have that band below the knees, we're just going to move it up the thigh a hair, taking it just above the knees, bottom of the thigh. Good job. And as we come on down to our backs for the first time here, before we jump right into those bridges, let's loosen up that low back a little bit. So we're going to adjust those shoulders so that they're pulled back and down the rib cage. Let the head rest back, hug the legs into the chest, and a little double kneaded chest here. Gently rocking your body side to side. All right, once you loosen up that low back, go ahead and place your feet about hip width apart. You should have that outward tension on the band. Adjust the head so that your chin is relatively neutral. You don't want to have your head and neck extended up. Arms out to the side. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to roll your hips back. Draw your belly and low back into the floor. And then you'll start to lift the hips up, driving out against the band. And you'll use this first set here as a warm-up. Working through that bridge. Holding up that top position for 1 to 2 seconds. And when I say top position, it doesn't necessarily have to be like as high as possible with the hips. Use your judgment and intuition with your body. We want to try to avoid any kind of pinching into that low back. We're right about halfway here. Another 30 seconds. Continue to practice these glute bridges. Wake up the back side of the body. Very good. A couple more. As those hips start to get up a little bit higher, start to give some focus to the upper spine as well by drawing the chin in towards the chest. Get a nice stretch on the back side of the neck. And 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Lowering the hips back down, we're going to bring the legs off the ground. You can keep that band on, legs together, 2 knee twists. Bring the legs to one side, look over that opposite shoulder. Good. When you're ready, up and across, sweep the legs the other direction, turn the head, look over the other shoulder. Let's get one more on each side. Guide it across. Fantastic. And back, second time, second side. Very good. Keep that band on your legs. Roll over so that you come onto all fours. Very good. And while we're here on all fours, turn your palms down, turn your fingers in towards your body. Get a nice stretch for the forearms. Lean on back. Watch that you're not arching the back as you do this. So draw the belly in, lower the head down. 1 or 2 more breaths here. Very good. Then turn those hands back around. Nice wide handprint. Turn the toes under, drive those hips up, and kind of like a close leg down dog here. So you still have that band on if you're using it. Pull the chin to the chest, push that chest open, gently encouraging your heart to come a little closer to your thighs. And then when you're ready, start to inchworm your way up, walking your hands towards your feet, and come on up to standing. Good. If it's convenient to do so, grab a drink of water. We're going to get started on round 2 here in about 15 seconds. And for the second round, bring the band so that it's above the knees, same spot that we used for those glute bridges. All righty. Going back those lateral steps with 2 to 3 squats on each side, starting in 2, 1. Here we go. Just a little quarter squat as you're stepping it out. Nice tall chest. Fantastic. Set those feet. Drive those knees wide. Keep that chest tall. Good job. Control into the bottom. Beautiful. And taking it back. If your body's feeling a little bit warmer, try to move just a little bit faster on this second round. Finding that rhythm. Excellent. 30 seconds in, 60 seconds left. We hold that quarter squat, just kind of keep that tension through the hips. Get a little bit more blood flow through the area. If you need a break, you can also like stand tall. Just give a break from that quarter squat position. Fantastic. There you go. That's our minute mark. 30 seconds left. Nice. There you go. Great depth on those. Making your way back to the start in about the next 15 seconds. Try to have an even number of repetitions on each side of the body. Very nice. And then when you finish that, we'll make our way back down to the mat. You have an option for a tabletop bridge on this second round. It's going to be a little bit more demanding on the upper body and the shoulders. But if you want to do a tabletop instead of a glute bridge, as you come down to seated, you're going to turn your hands, the fingers face back, draw your shoulders back, and the tabletop's going to look like this. So it's pretty demanding on the upper body, still get some good glute activation, and it's a good opener for the chest. So you're welcome to do that variation or repeat that glute bridge. We're going to spend a minute to practice this. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I'm going to probably work the tabletop for about 30 seconds. And then depending on how my body's feeling, I might take it down to the floor, finish up with the glute bridge. Nice. Those of you practicing this tabletop, really draw those shoulders back. Try to open the chest as you lift those hips. Good. And still getting that knee drive, still pushing out against that band throughout. Fantastic. That's 30 seconds. You can keep with that tabletop, or I'm just going to take it back down to the floor and finish the second 30 seconds with the bridge. Good. When I'm down on the floor, I really love that stretch for the back of the neck, upper part of the spine. We hold a lot of tension in that upper neck area, right at the base of the head. So this glute bridge is a great opener. Squeeze. Let's go one more. Holding at the top for 3, 2, 1, and release. Go ahead and bring your hips on down and take that band off the legs. You're going to stay down here for some stretching. All right, we're going to go glute stretch first. Go ahead and extend your left leg straight out. Pull that right knee towards the right shoulder, and then sweep it across the body, pulling your right knee towards your left shoulder. Say hello to the glute on that side. You can hold it static or just gently glide the knee up and down. Inviting that hip to open. Good. Once that glute starts to feel like it's going to open, we're going to transition into figure 4. Take that right foot onto the left thigh as you pull that left thigh up. Interlace the hands around the thigh, hug that left thigh in. And check in with your head and neck. I found my chin kind of extended there, so you can lift the head, draw the chin back down. Great time to close the eyes and breathe. We're going to hold this another 15 seconds. Just focusing on that outer right hip. And 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and release the left leg. Extend the right. And then we're going to start with the glute stretch on your left. So pull the knee and shin towards the left shoulder and then sweep it across the body, pulling that left knee towards the right shoulder. You can hold it static or gently glide it up and down. Very good. Once the glute starts to relax, we'll bring that right leg into the picture, putting the left foot on the right thigh, hug that right leg in. Figure 4 on the left side, opening that outer left hip. I didn't mention it on the right side, but you can take the elbow of your left arm and try to place it on the left thigh or left knee and just use that elbow to kind of push out a little bit more. Invite that hip to open a bit more. Another 20 seconds here. Feel free to close the eyes, give them a break. Focus on your breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. One more nice deep breath in. As you exhale, go ahead and release that leg. And we're going to make our way onto all fours. So go ahead and roll it over. As you come onto all fours, spread those fingers nice and wide and do some cat-cows first. So as you exhale, you're going to push through those shoulder blades, draw the chin in towards the chest. Think about trying to bring your spine up towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, draw the shoulders back, gently arch the back, lift the head and neck. Good. Between 3 and 5 cycles here, moving at your own rhythm. Rounding through the exhale, gently arching through the inhale. Very nice. Fantastic. As you finish those cycles, bring your big toes together, divide the knees about the width of your mat, and walk those hands straight out. Rock it back into child's position. 2 to 3 breaths here. Trying to expand the backside of the rib cage. Send the air in the back of the lungs. And then on the exhale, lower your chest down just a little bit. Deep breath in, expand, and gently exhale. Good. On the next inhale, come on back to all fours. We're going to make our way into down dog. Wide handprint, turn the toes under, drive those hips high. As you gently bring your chest towards your thighs, start to lower your heels down towards the floor as well. Get a nice stretch on the lower part of the legs. You can start to pedal those heels out, lowering one heel down, then the other. Very good. When you're ready, you're going to start to inchworm your way up. Instead of coming all the way up to standing right away, we're going to do our hamstring flossing. So you're going to walk your feet about the distance of a squat, grab onto your shins, your ankles, whatever is most comfortable for you. Then you're going to lower your hips down, lift the chest, use your elbows, drive those knees wide. Very good. And then from here, continue to hold on to your legs or your feet, lift the hips up, drop the chest down, draw the chin to the chest. Say hello to the back of the hamstrings. 2 to 3 times there. Lower down, chest tall, elbows on the insides of the knees, pushing them wide. Good. And then hips up, head down. Should not be painful. Let's go for one more. Make sure your weight is staying on the heels. You want to have your whole foot planted into the mat. You can bring those hands up into that prayer position as well. Really emphasize that tall chest, opening the inner thighs. Good. And then final hamstring floss. Lift those hips. Lower the head down. Good. And then instead of coming back into the squat, just push through your feet and come on up. Tuck your hips under and make your way up to standing. Good job. Welcome back up to vertical. Grab a drink. We're going to get ready for our first circuit after a little bit more upper body stretching. We have some dumbbell thrusters coming up first with some bent over rows. All right, so to kind of get our awareness again here, open up that upper body a little bit more. We're going to do our tricep side bend from a stagger stance. So set your left foot forward, step your right foot back, check in with your midline here. So pull it down and in, reach that right arm up. You're going to bend at the elbow, reaching up and around. So we're focusing on hip shift first. Send the hips forward, squeeze the glute. Keep your head up as you bend towards your left side. So I'm really focusing on that back hip, squeezing the glute on that right as I side bend. You can hold that position, then we'll come out of it and sink back into it. Head up, chest tall, and gently bend to the side. One of my favorites. Feels so good. Very good. Go ahead and come on out. Shake those arms out in between legs behind the back stretch. So walk the feet a little wider. Draw the shoulders back and down. Interlace the hands. Extend those elbows and then send those hips back. Toby's feeling playful this morning. Pull those arms straight up to overhead. 2 to 3 breaths here. Sending the air into the back of the rib cage. Trying to expand. When you're ready, next inhale, tuck the hips under. Make your way on up. Tricep side bend from that stagger stance. Right foot forward this time. Left foot back. Lift the chest. Shift those hips forward. You reach that back arm up. Right, left arm. Grab the elbow. Still shifting the hip. Eyes up, chest up, and then taking it to the side. Good. Come out of that side bend. Lift the chest once again, and then one more time, taking to the side. Watch so you don't lose that posture through the upper body. And rest from there. All right, fantastic. The water is nearby. Grab a drink. You're going to need weights for the dumbbell thruster, full squat, one arm up to overhead, full squat, opposite arm up to overhead. We'll have upwards of a minute. I'll look to give you 30 and 45-second marks. And then we'll be going to a bent over row. Left arm in between sides. We're going to be doing a lateral step over, and then we'll be on our right arm. Option of some rebounding jumps at the end, or you can take a little longer rest before those thrusters. All right. Let me know if there's any questions. Otherwise, we're going to start here in about 10 seconds, starting with the thrusters. All right, so set those feet about hip width apart, just a slight toe out, elbows up and forward, and 2, 1, here we go. Control down. As you stand, give a little hip drive. One arm goes up, and then controlling down, standing tall, opposite arm on the next rep. Fantastic. First of 3 rounds here, so pace yourself a bit. Looking to move consistent each set. Fantastic. There you go. That's our first 30 seconds. Really fight to push those elbows up and forward. You're going to think about pushing your shoulders forward. Going to keep that tall chest. Ensure that your elbows aren't making contact with your thighs as you lower into that squat. There's our 45-second mark. 15 to go if you're working for that full minute. Good. I typically breathe in as I lower, exhale as I drive tall, and finish that rep. That's the minute. Excellent. We're going to go bent over row, left arm first. Step your right foot forward, left foot back, coming on down to support, and 2, 1, begin. Shoulder back and down, pulling that elbow straight up towards the ceiling. Nice. Breathe in as you reach forward. Exhale as you draw that elbow high. Giving some focus to the little finger and your ring finger. I like to think about those two, pulling them a little higher. We tend to be more dominant through like our index and our middle finger. Go maybe one more, reach, row it up, and take a rest. Set that on down, come on up to standing. In between arms, we're working our lateral step overs. Nice high knee position, up and over. We're gonna vary up this movement each round. Next round, we'll have an option of some skier steps, kind of working that side lunge. Good job. Palms rotating forward here. Use this as a chest opener as well. Good, 10 seconds. Whoops, lost my balance a little bit. Staying tall. And 2, 1, and rest there. Good job. Coming back to that bent over row, this time on your right arm. Left foot comes forward, right foot steps back. Come on down, supporting on your thigh. 2, 1, and begin. Once you know that movement, turn your gaze so you're just looking straight down, holding that neck neutral with the rest of your spine. You want to look right at your front foot. Breathe in. Exhale, pull that elbow nice and high. Fantastic. Chest a little bit taller, Kathy. Keep that back nice and flat. There you go. And 3, 2, 1, and rest. All right, you can take a full rest here before we get back to those thrusters. If you want to keep your heart rate a little higher, we'll start to work our rebounding hops. Chest nice and tall, either straight up and down or a little side to side if you feel confident with that. Good. And you don't want to be high on the toes here for the rebound. Feel your heels just lightly graze the ground. Practice having a nice relaxed ankle. There you go. 3, 2, 1, and take a pause. All right, 20 seconds. We're back to the thrusters. Set 2 of 3. Same weights, different weights. Whatever feels best for your body. All right, get ready to come into position. Set the feet, elbows up and forward. 2, 1, and begin. Remember, we're alternating arms. One arm drives high, back to the squat, then the opposite arm. As the heart rate gets a little bit higher, you may find that you breathe twice for each rep. Just try not to hold the breath. Meet your breathing rate where it is. If you need to slow it down a little bit, just pause. Press overhead, bring it down, pause a moment, and then take yourself into the squat. If you feel confident with that higher heart rate, then as the arm's coming down, lower your body into the squat. Keep it a bit more fluid. We are over 30 seconds in. Good. Elevate that shoulder high. That's 45 seconds. Fight to keep that chest up. Look to find a spot straight ahead of you to focus on. Go ahead, maybe 1 or 2 more. 2, 1, and rotate. Bent over row, left arm. Right foot forward, left foot back. Think nice long spine here and begin. Chin in, looking straight down towards the front foot. Pull the elbow as high as you can. Draw it up and in. It's a great practice to pause in the top, really emphasizing and reinforcing that shoulder blade in towards the spine. Working to get away from those forward rolled shoulders. 2, 1, rest and rotate. All right, I said we were going to change it up this round. We did the lateral step overs last time. Now we'll practice those skier steps. For that, you're going to lift up on one side, step behind your body. Go ahead and set the foot on the ground this round. Reach for your opposite foot. Stand tall, step behind, and reach on down. Good. As you get the hang of this, if you want to have it a little bit more balanced, keep the back foot off the ground as you reach down. Lifting up, establish that base. Good support. Keep that back foot off the ground. Let's practice this for 10 more seconds. Over and up. Good. Woo. And 2, 1, and rest. Good job. Making your way back to the bent over row, this time with the right arm. Left foot forward, nice long step back. And 2, 1, when you're ready. Keep that shoulder down out of the ears. You want to have a long neck for this position, for this movement rather. Good. Pull that dumbbell up and in. Halfway. Reach down, draw that shoulder blade down the rib cage. One more, reach it forward, pull that elbow high, and take a rest. All right, either full rest or back to those rebounding jumps. Standing nice and tall, either straight up and down or a little side to side hop. Fantastic. If anything's going on that the jumping doesn't feel right for your body, you can also march here. Or you can even just kind of bounce without ever fully coming off the ground. So I kind of keep my balls of my feet in contact and just really lightly bounce with the feet. Good. Shaking that lymphatic system, keeping it all pumping and moving. And rest. All right, 20 seconds. Be back for our third and final round of this circuit. Uh-oh, losing the water. Woo, all right, 10 seconds. Set the feet for the squat, gentle toe out. Ready, here we go. Alternating arms, one arm up to overhead, back to that squat, and then the opposite arm. Fantastic, great rhythm, everyone. You got it, drive those knees wide, keep those eyes up. Excellent depth. Nice, Jean. Good cycle, Kathy. There's our halfway. If you're doing the full minute, 30 seconds in. This is the end of our squatting. We do have some lunging in the next circuit. That's 45 seconds. Woo! Hanging strong. Eyes up, chest up. And 3, 2, 1. Rest on those. Good. Back to the bent over row, left arm. Right foot forward, left foot back. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we are. Especially if you feel like, man, I wish I had a little bit heavier weight. Slow the movement down by adding that pause at the top. That isometric hold at the top is going to give you a little extra work. Similar effort than if you were having a little bit heavier weight. There's lots of ways to manipulate the movement. And you only have a couple of weights to use. Get one more in here, holding that elbow nice and high. And release. Fantastic. We're going to stick with those skier steps with the option of doing that balanced skier. We keep that back leg off the ground. Chest tall when you're ready. Lifting up the hip, bowing down, either foot on the ground as you reach across or keep it up and lifted. Make sure your balance is established. Ground downside foot should be really solid. Gripping those toes down, keeping that heel in contact with the floor, and then hinging at the hips with a soft bend in the knee. Excellent. Good. Nice long spine. Maybe one more on each side. And 2, 1. Rest there. 10 seconds. We'll be back to our final bent over row. This time your right arm. There's our hound dog. And 3, 2, 1. Begin. Pulling that elbow high. Maybe y'all can't hear him through the garage. Breathe in as you reach forward. Exhale, pull that elbow up. Neutral head, draw that chin in. Keep that neck nice and strong. We tend to overarch the neck quite a bit. Good. Last time, reach forward, pull that elbow high, and rest there. All right, just the rebounding jumps to finish this circuit. Or you can march in place. And here we go. Good job. Nice strong breathing here. Eyes up, chest up. Also just dance a little bit. Moving your body, have some fun. Fitness doesn't have to be so serious. Yes, you want to be safe, you want to be smart, but we also want it to be enjoyable. So you want to come back for more. Good job. Almost there. 2, 1, and rest. Fantastic. That circuit's all done. Let's grab some water. We'll do a couple of stretches. We'll be into our final set. We have reverse lunges. Shoulder to overhead. And then the other leg reverse lunge. An option of either a rest or some good old burpees. Before we drop into that, let's practice, you can balance on something as needed, or we'll do a standing figure 4 here. So chest tall, cross one foot over, you can reach those arms out, sit it on back. Draw the shoulders back and down. If you want to do that crossover here with the arms, you can interlace the hands, one under, one over. Pull those shoulders back and down. Good. Keep that chest tall now, lifting the chest, Jean. And 2, 1, come on up and out. Woo. Good job. Same thing, other side. Set the leg down. Establish that balance. Bring the foot over the opposite thigh. Sit on back. And if it's your right leg crossed over, it's going to be the left arm that sweeps under. Good job. This is one I really kind of find myself wanting to shrug those shoulders up. So draw them down the rib cage. Keep the hips nice and level. Almost there. One arm's pushing down while the other arm pushes up. 2, 1, and shake it out. Woo. Good job. Let's just give a little hip rock, hip circle, just a little release to those hips. All right, fantastic. As we get ready for the lunges, you can hold some weights if you want. I'm going to go unweighted on the first round, and then shoulder to overhead is our second exercise. You can either hold one dumbbell or one weight in each hand, or one weight with 2 hands right underneath the chin. If you have lighter weights, you can do what we would call a strict press, meaning no assist with the legs. If you have a little bit heavier weight, need a little bit extra drive, do what we call a push press, quarter squat, chest tall, and driving straight up from there. Watch the back. We don't want to arch. So ribs down, midline tight. If you're not quite sure about this, you can always watch the first round. We're going to be taking it for 3 rounds, starting in 10 seconds. You're going to have your left leg be the forward leg on your reverse lunge. So set those feet, toes pointing straight ahead. And 2, 1, here we go. Right foot steps back, controlling that knee down, keeping that front shin vertical. Good. Really think about propelling yourself up and forward that front heel and driving this heel down, extending through the hip, bringing that other foot forward to meet. Good. You can do that high knee if you want. We're only working for 30 seconds. So if you want to slow down the reps, you can bring that leg through to high knee. Otherwise, that's your last rep and take a rest. Good job. Transitioning to that shoulder to overhead. One weight in each hand or one weight between the 2 hands. Elbows up and forward, chin drawn in, and here we go, straight up to overhead. You can also start with a strict press, and then if you start to get too much fatigue or you're like, I don't feel confident to get that locked out, then you can add the little dip and drive. Similar to a squat, knees are going to push out, heels are going to sink down, but it's just a little quarter squat. Good, 10 seconds left. Just squeeze the glutes, lower body strong. 2, 1, go ahead and rest there, set that down. We're going back to the lunges. This time you're gonna keep your right leg forward. So make sure all the toes are pointing straight ahead, standing nice and tall. And then when you're ready, here we go. Left leg steps back, knee controls down. Drive it up and forward. Good job. I like to think about the position of my belly button when I'm doing lunges. If I lose my chest forward, I'm going to send the belly button back. So I'll think about chest up, bring that belly button up and forward. Keep that center of gravity right over the middle of your foot, best you can. One or two more. And rest. All right, if you need to catch your breath, maybe your energy levels are a little low, take this next 30 seconds off. Otherwise, getting ready for our burpees. We're gonna do the no push-up burpee. Ready? Begin. Step or float the feet back, hop or step the feet up. Trying to come all the way into the heels before you start to bring yourself upright. Engage those glutes, reach those arms up. You can give a little short, straight jump at the top, or just squeeze the glutes and stand tall. 10 seconds left. Fantastic. Let's get one more. And rest. All right, nice job. We're gonna take 20 seconds. Be back for the second round. Second of 3 rounds here for this final circuit. All righty. With or without weights, it's going to be your left foot forward. I'm going to hold a little bit of weight this time right up underneath the chin. You can also hold weights at your sides. And 2, 1, here we go. Right foot steps back. Left shin should stay vertical. Whole foot stays planted. Heel driving down, gripping with the toes to activate that arch. Excellent. Good, strong movement there. And you can lunge with confidence, makes walking the stairs easy, climbing mountains a lot easier. Strong legs, final rep, and rest. Good job. Shake out that upper body because we're getting ready for that shoulder to overhead. All right, going to pick up your weights, starting at 30 seconds in 2, 1, here we go. Strict press or push press. Squeeze the booty. Good. Continue to breathe in as I lower the weight down. Exhale as you drive up. Try not to have a lot of motion through the head and neck. So just hold the chin in nice and neutral. Push the shoulders high to overhead. 10 seconds left. Sometimes people will tend to call it like chicken necking. They'll push their head out and they'll tend to crane the neck forward. And last one. Take a pause. Good job. Back to lunges, this time with your right leg forward. With or without weight. Set the feet. 2, 1. Here we go. Left foot steps back. Front shin vertical. Very good. Focus to make sure your hips are staying square. Sometimes our hips will want to kick out to the side, typically of the leg that's forward. Good. 10 seconds left. Moving with control. And 2, 1. Rest and rotate. Set that weight down. You can go right into those burpees or take a pause. As you come down, those of you choosing the burpees, wide handprint, midline strong. Step or float your feet up towards your hands. If you're jumping, your feet to your hands. Lower abdomen strong. Think about floating your hips like someone has a harness on your hips from the ceiling. They're pulling your hips straight up to the ceiling. Get that assist from the heavens. Come in those heels, squeeze the glutes. 10 seconds left. If you're stepping, try to pay attention to alternate. Which foot steps up, which foot steps back. 2, 1, and rest. All right, we'll take a full 30 seconds before we get into this third and final round. Woo! All right, 15 seconds. Back to the left leg forward. I'm going to hold a weight to the side this time. When they're down the sides, we'll tend to have that habit to come forward. So just shoulders back. Starting in 5 and 2, 1, begin. If you're feeling strong, you can move just a little bit faster as long as you have control. You don't want to slam that kneecap down. Halfway. Chest tall. Excellent. Great lunges, crew. Maybe one more. 2, 1, and rest. Final shoulder to overhead coming up next. If you're holding weight, just shake it out for a second. Come right back to it. Bring it up to the shoulders and 2, 1. Here we go. Either strict press or that little mini dip and drive for the push press. As you're starting to get fatigued now, watch the low back. No arching. Draw the belly in, squeeze the booty. As always, breathe. Breathe in as you dip, exhale as you drive. Good, couple more. 2, 1, and rotate. Final set of lunges. Right leg forward. Oh, that's what I used. Draw those shoulders back, lift the chest. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Excellent. Good. Like the holding the weight on one side of the body, that gives a good challenge as well. Keeping yourself nice and square. Good job. Halfway through. We're going to go from these lunges right into that final set of burpees. 10 seconds. I encourage everyone to join. This will be our final exercise. Maybe one more. Good job. Set those weights down. We're going to take a full 45 seconds from here to work those burpees. Here we go. Step or float. So now, it's like based upon that energy levels, you can move fast here or just use it as like an extension of a cool down. You can move nice and steady. Fantastic. There's our 30 seconds. We're going to add another 15 to it. Basically turn the transition time into a little extra work time. Woo! Engage those glutes to pull yourself upright. And 3, 2, 1, all done. Woo-hoo. Nice work. Give yourself a round of applause. Walk it out. And we'll get a couple more than 2. We'll get some cool down stretching in. All right, I'm going to keep you on your feet for a moment. You can use the back of a couch, a chair. You can come to the wall. We're going to do our overhead stretch. I'm going to walk behind the wall or the chair. I'm going to place the hands either on the wall or on the back of the chair here. Walk the feet back, belly pulled in. I'm going to lower my chest down, bringing the head between the arms. And then send the air, expanding the back. Now we're looking to start to bring the heart rate down, calm the body a little bit. It's a nice cleansing breath. Good. Take your right hand, reach for your left knee, kind of lower your head under. You can grab onto that left thigh, looking under that right shoulder. Sorry, left shoulder. Very good. Place that right hand back. Same thing on the left. Left hand to the right thigh or right knee, looking underneath that right shoulder. Very good. Go ahead and come up out of that. Make your way off the wall, off the chair. And then we're going to do a sumo inchworm, kind of making our way down. So walk the feet out about the width of your mat. Get that soft bend in the knees. We're just going to reach down for the ground. Crawl your way down. We're going to come onto hands and knees and make your way to your stomach for some scorpions. So for the scorpions, I lie right down on my stomach. I'm going to bring my arms out to the side. I'm going to start with my left hand, kind of crawling those fingers out, reaching as far as I can to the left. Roll the shoulder back, and I'm going to bring my right hand underneath my right shoulder like I'm going to do a push-up. Bend the right knee, bring that leg back, engage the glutes. Invite the front of the hip to open and the downside chest area to open. You just rest the head down. About 10 more seconds here. Keep firing the glute of that top leg so you don't overarch the low back. And when you're ready, making your way back to the center. In between sides, we'll do a couple press ups. Hands underneath the shoulders, engage those glutes. Draw the shoulders back as you lift the chest, looking up towards the ceiling. Good, we'll go up and down a few times here. Lower the chest down. Keep the hips planted as you lift the chest up. Focus to lengthen through the spine as you lift up so you don't just sit into that low back and cause any kind of pinching. Squeezing the glutes will really help also. Last time, down, lift up. Open the front side of the body. Fantastic. As you come back down, now you'll take your opposite arm. I think you're on the left. Crawl those fingers out. Pull the shoulder back. Roll your torso to that side. Use your opposite hand right underneath that shoulder. Bend the knee of the top leg as you reach that thigh back. Firing the booty. You can relax that head down. Let's go one more breath here. And go ahead and come unwound from there. All right, we're going to do our down dog. Feel free to come back in a child's position for a moment. Loosen that low back up. We're going to do our little short flow of down dog into pigeon into seated twist. That'll be our final series here. So turn the toes under, drive those hips high. Think about bringing your heart towards your thighs. Pedal out those heels. We did a decent amount of jumping and rebounding today. And then when you're ready, we're going to take that left leg, extend that leg straight up and back, point the toes, and then glide it forward. Square the hips and shoulders best you can. Come into that pigeon. Good job. Draw the shoulders back and down, lift the chest, and then see what feels best for your body here. You can stay tall. You can lower down to your forearms. This is a limited position for you. A yoga block can be really helpful, or a pillow to prop yourself up with. If you'd like to grab that back foot, you can reach behind you, grab the back foot, sometimes easier, a little bit taller. We're gonna hold about another 10 seconds here, and then we'll bring that back leg around for a seated twist. Again, welcome. If you could just mute yourself as you come on. When you're ready, release that back foot, go ahead and swing that back leg around. Sitting nice and tall and hug that leg in. Thank you. Long spine here, tall chest. Think about drawing that chin in as well. Good. Feel free to take the arm of the same side of the leg you're hugging in. Should be your right leg. I think we're all on the same side. Walk that hand behind you, turn the head and neck, looking over that shoulder. Let's hold for 2 more breaths. And unwind yourself from there. Whichever leg you're hugging in, for me, it's my right. As we make our way back into down dog, that's gonna be the leg we send up and forward. So final down dog here, wide handprint, turn those toes under, drive the hips up. Draw that chin in towards the chest as you push the heart towards your thighs and pedal those heels. Good. When you're ready, I believe it was the right, extend it up, point the toes, drive that leg nice and high, and then glide it forward, square the hips. Pigeon. Just watch so you don't just drop into the hip of that front leg. Maintain a little bit of, seems strange to say maintain tension while you're stretching, but maintain some strength and awareness through that joint. You want to lower down to the forearms, you can. Good. If you want to come back up and grab that rear foot, bring a little quad stretch into it. Very nice. And then when you're ready, go ahead and sit yourself down onto your hips. Swing that back leg around for seated twist. Apologize about the time. I ran us a little bit over today, chatting a little bit more in the start of class. Always nice to catch up with folks. This will be our final stretch that I'll take you through. Walk that back hand around, turn the head. As always, if you can take a little extra time, check in with your body, see if you're needing anything else for support, or if you can just lay flat on your back for a moment, focus on your breath, and just give yourself a moment of peace and quiet. Sometimes it's the best gift you can give. All right, everyone, when you're done with that twist, go ahead and make your way on out. As I mentioned, anything else you want to add in? Otherwise, stay hydrated, stay healthy, and have a fantastic weekend.